do what works. And what does that mean, works? Well, that is what feels completely, what would you say, beyond words. There's two parts in Vedic teaching, which means, knowledge, ancient, of the mystics and such. They say it's two things. You have to know what to do and what not to do. Now, that does not mean that you fight or you take sides of one thing or another by saying that's good and that's bad. It's not saying that. It's saying that you want to know what works and what doesn't work to give you the results that you desire. So, for instance, say that you had some ailment, and I tell you, when I was in India, I had all these symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis, terrible pains and suffering. And so what I did is I used the internet, because I first knew it was told to me that was rheumatoid arthritis, my beingness, I said, what is it? It's told. So I went and I looked up the cause and natural cure for, and then I wrote rheumatoid arthritis. And as I researched, not that I was going to people's products and all that so much, but I was just reading and studying and doing some really nice deep research. And I came up with what was the answer for me and such. And that, then as I applied that, there was what to do and what not to do. And in everything, there is a positive and a negative, you might say. There's a plus and a minus. There's a yes and a no. And it would be the same, it's like I like to grow. I'm not a big fanatic or the world's greatest gardener or anything, but I do like that. And I have house plants that last all the season, and even up here in the cold and the snow and all of that. And not because I have a green thumb, but what I learned, here's this little guy, many years ago, when I would buy house plants or any plants and they'd die. So I thought, well, I just don't have a green thumb. And then one time I realized, well, why don't I follow the directions for that particular plant and see what it wants or likes. And when I did that, all my plants grow, because I found out what works for them and what doesn't work. There's in gardening called companion planting, that certain plants really don't like each other. And probably it means there's somehow, not that it's a personal vendetta or anything like that, but it's like there's certain chemicals in the growing of them where their root system and such needs that, and that isn't good for that. So you want to put those together that like each other and really empower each other. And then those other ones, like some things are invasive, but sometimes invasive is good if you want to get rid of something that's really unpleasant in your garden, like has stickers and all those things. You could find some other cover garden, you see. So when we look at what works and what doesn't work, you know in your own experience. And if we would become stronger, that's what I say to myself, and to be the strongest in being in my wisdom, in my knowing in the moment, then I know intuitively what to do and what not to do. But it's also important that we also know from our own experience those things that work and those things that don't work. Tell you one time, my early years of marriage, I felt criticized all the time, constantly. Please stop. And he wouldn't stop. So anyway, I'm now go, you know, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown, and I'm saying this. And so I get a whole dozen eggs, and I throw them against the kitchen wall. And it goes all the way down the bottom of the wall. And he just looks at me and he says, you have to clean that up, you know. And it was so great he did that. He didn't have any idea what a great psychologist he was, because what it really realized was, you know, I created that mess because I want to have a nervous breakdown so I could control him, to get him to stop talking to me like that. Really? What a waste. But anyway, it wasn't a waste, only because I got what the lesson is.